I could sum up 2017 so far in 1 year, it would be awesome. Wonder Woman, directed by Patty Jenkins, stars Gal Gadot, Christopher Pine, and is the fourth installment into the DC Extended Universe. So far, one of the most divisive universes in film this far. Going into this film, a lot of people were concerned that this would be the last break before Justice League as to whether or not people are going to be into this franchise. I think that this franchise has caused a lot of people to be on board or not on board with the current DC slate of films. Batman vs. Superman and Suicide Squad were big proponents of that. I find that Man of Steel, a lot of people are just mixed around. But Wonder Woman, on the other hand, is a film that I think everybody's going to agree with is awesome. It's high intensity. It's packed with a lot of adventure. There's actually good chemistry between Gadot and Pine that I thought really worked well in this film. I'll get more into that later. But let's start with the things that I did like. First of all, there's a little bit more color in this film. Not as much as everyone's saying there is. Everyone's going on about how vibrant this film is. There's definitely more color, just not as much as everyone's making a big deal out to be. But there is definitely some more vibrancy in comparison to the other three films. But the main thing I wanted to address was how good Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman was. She really stole the spotlight in this film, and even after Batman vs. Superman, I still wasn't on top with her being Wonder Woman. There's still a few things that just didn't quite have me, but after this film I can say that she is, after Linda Carter, she is now the Wonder Woman. And she was a hell of a lot of fun to watch. There are a few gripes with this film, and I'm just going to get to that quickly here. But before I get into any spoilers or anything like that, I wanted to just let you guys know that this film is awesome. So before we get into the thing, here comes your spoiler warning. Okay, so the spoilers of Wonder Woman. There are a few things that I do want to discuss. You guys are already heard about what I liked. It had a good vibrancy, good chemistry with the characters, and it had a pretty decent plot that was really easy to follow along with. It wasn't spoon-fed or anything. It was just really well done. It was really smart in constructing this character of Wonder Woman. But the things I don't like require a little bit of spoiler. My biggest issue of the film was the third act, and that just meant it didn't. The first two acts were just so strong in this film that this one didn't quite hold up to it. It got a little CGI cartoony, and I get that that's the whole thing they have to get into. In order to have that big battle, you're going to have to do a little bit of stuff like that. But the third act is just not something I was entirely in with. There is one redeeming factor, and that was Steve Trevor's death, the character played by Chris Pine. He did an amazing job, and he really sold the action and the death. There was a lot of emotion for his final sacrifice in this film that it really helped finally drive home the third act. Again, the third act wasn't great, but if it didn't have that moment, then the third act would have been even worse. But I'm glad it did. Once we get to Eris, that's when the things get a little choppy again. I'll let bygones be bygones in this one because I still enjoyed seeing Eris on screen. I thought it was really cool. Another couple of issues I would get with is the whole Dr. Poison side plot sub-story. I didn't care for it too much at all. Like, it was fine, but it just didn't. It felt like that was the moments of the film that really dragged, as opposed to like what I thought the moments of the film were going to be with Gal Gadot and Chris Pine's delivery scenes, and they actually had such a great chemistry. I think a lot of that has to do with Pine. Gadot did great, but it seems like Pine just has great chemistry with whoever he works with, be from Star Trek to Bottle Shock. He just does a fantastic job with everyone he works with. I really felt that again in this film. Great emotion, great action sequences. One in particular called the No Man's Scene. You'll know when it happens. You've seen the trailer where she comes out of the barracks in her suit and stuff. It's mind blowing. That being said, Wonder Woman was a fantastic film. Had little edges here and there with the subplots in the third act, but overall it was still a fantastic film. I'm going to give Wonder Woman an 8.5 out of 10.